Sidhu Moosewala, right? I've been in the studio with bro, and like we've been kicking it together. We had so many good times, and like, you know, and justice for him. And it's been like I feel like just kicking it with him. He has never in any of his songs mentioned any of that, and we shared uh, that one common goal with our music for Punjabi. But like, we'll do everything, but we're not gonna go that way. I feel like everybody that loved music, in general, it was just like a very devastating day, and I don't feel like anybody could ever take his position because I remember being in the studio with Sidhu and like I never seen an artist write that fast on the spot. When I met Diljit Paji, he said the funniest story to me in the studio one day. He's like, Paji, when we first started working with you, he's mentioning me. He's like, people thought that you get your songs written from somebody else. Baad mein aapna na dal dinda vich. We've had this rule from day one. Like you notice in any of our songs, we actually don't mention any type of drugs, alcohol, we haven't
Abuses.
done it. Yeah, we haven't done it any like substance abuse kind of type of songs before, like promoting that. I really feel like it's God sent. You're gonna laugh. Okay, so we did Daku, and we originally it wasn't on the same composition. It wasn't on a different beat, right? So we're
Yeah.
driving to the music video shoot, and it's good to have people in your life. This story was the best example of that. That aren't just like yes, yes, chakde fatte, bahut vadiya, right? We're driving to the music video. It's raining. Everybody's kind of dukhi in the car, right? It's really early, and then we're playing the song, and then I'm like, "Yaar, gaane da." We're going to shoot the music video, and I'm like, I said it out loud, right? I was like, "Yaar, gaane da swad ja nahi aa raha, hai na?" We gana vadiya aaya, music till aaya, and I was like, composition could be better too. What do you guys think, man? Right?
Hello, everybody. I'm Rodrani, and welcome to Zoom Speak Easy. Right now, what is the most amazing thing is that Punjabi music has taken over the world. And it's the best thing ever because it's the most happy vibe. And we're here to celebrate another Punjabi artist who is making us so proud globally, of course, talking about Chani. Hello. Thank you for doing this.
Hello. Thank you for having us. The whole team, everybody that's watching. Thank you guys.
It's so exciting, like I said, the evolution and the growth of Punjabi music globally is fantastic. Today we see what artists like Diljit and AP have been able to do. We just
Yeah.
saw sold out stadiums
Yeah.
in different parts of the world by
Yeah.
Diljit and everybody pouring in. So I
For
would
sure.
like to know your thoughts on it.
No, it's also honestly, it's amazing to see that. Like growing up, we know that Punjabi music was something that we would listen to, especially us. I grew up in Canada myself, so Punjabi music was something we would get to hear at parties or like on the TV here and there. And like we always used to imagine like if one day it would be at the level of like a global language, like how example hip hop was growing up. And growing up, Punjabi music was cool, but it wasn't really at the scale that we always wanted it to be at. No, I finally feel like Punjabi music has gone to that level where it's actually how you mentioned selling out stadiums and like being played everywhere. So it feels amazing. It's good for the culture. It's good for the language.
Absolutely. You've been writing for a while. You grew up in Surrey,
Yes,
but I think जो कहते हैं ना जो दिल का जो देसीपन है वो कभी नहीं गया.
for
And like
sure,
your
for sure.
songs,
Yeah,
you while you were brought up in Surrey, I want to understand how that story began for you, and why
yeah.
were you so adamant in the fact that I want to make sure that I use hate Punjabi in my songs
Yeah.
and make sure I stick to it.
Sometimes my Punjabi so ਠੇਠ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਕਿ ਨਹੀਂ ਯਾਰ ਇਹ Canadian born ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈਗਾ right and
You know,
so like yeah it's actually so funny because being born outside it was like there was a little bit of the language barrier, but in my house growing up everybody spoke Punjabi, so I was deeply connected to the roots. Like growing up we would visit India regularly with my family, so meeting my relatives, going to my village in Punjab, I learned a lot of Punjabi, and I feel like that's what kind of shaped my career. And that being a part of my life, just the language, being around music a lot, it really helped me. Because it's funny because how you mentioned that, because when I met Diljit Paji, he said the funniest story to me in the studio one day. He's like, Paji, when we first started working with you, he's mentioning me. He's like, people thought that you get your songs written from somebody else. Baad mein aapna na dal dinda vich. And he's like, now I've seen you work in person. He's like, now I believe it that you actually write your own songs.
No, fantastic. You mentioned Diljit, so let's go there. Tell us about that meeting. I know a little bit of the story, but I'm sure you can give us a little details on it and how that collaboration started, right? Like, because you were already doing a lot of work with actually local Punjabi artists, which is fascinating in Surrey. And then
Yeah.
you kind of went mainstream completely with, of course, Diljit's collaboration and other things.
Yeah, I mentioned this a lot of times before. With working with Diljit Paji was like a dream come true because I've watched all his movies. I used to go to all his concerts, and I was just like a fan in the background, like everybody else. And like, so even when I met him, I was like, yo, I have to make sure you know this, that this is so big for me that like I'm your biggest fan. So like, I never knew like one day I'd actually be able to work with him, sit in a studio, and like I had a song that me and my partner did. Inderpal Moga, he's my brother. We worked together on all our songs. So we did a song called Umbrella, and we had recorded it ourselves. And I have a friend in Surrey named Intense. He done a lot of big songs. A lot of them went really viral in India. Like he produced Excuses by AP, and he produced Lover by Diljit, and so big global hits. So I had a song that I done with him. It was called Umbrella. It's basically based on a double R flex. The hook line was like ਤੇਰੇ ਸ਼ਹਿਰ ਦੀ ਮਡੀਰ ਦੇਖ ਦੇਖ ਮੱਛਰੀ ਜਦੋਂ ਫੈਂਟਮ ਵਿੱਚੋਂ ਕੱਢ ਖੋਲੀ ਛਤਰੀ. So we did that song, and then he played it for Diljit Paji. Diljit Paji was like, yo, like I really like this vibe. It would be like, something that I would want to do. So these guys called me. I was at home. They're like, oh, Diljit Paji really likes your song. He's at the studio right now. And I was like, yo, like don't lie to me, right? Because they're my friends, I thought they maybe just want to like, they want me to order food for them or something, right? ਵੀ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਖਾਣਾ ਪੀਣਾ ਮੰਗਾਉਣਾ ਆ ਮੈਂ ਕਿ ਜੇ ਖਾਣਾ ਲੈਣਾ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਸਿੱਧਾ ਦੱਸ ਦਿਓ ਤਾਂ ਮੈਂ ਸਟੂਡੀਓ ਲੈ ਆਉਂਗਾ ਵੀ ਐ ਨਾ ਕਹੋ ਕਿ ਦਲਜੀਤ ਭਾਜੀ ਆਇਆ ਹੋਇਆ ਵੀ ਜੇਕਰ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਤਾਂ ਦੱਸੋ right they're like no trust it ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆ ਜਾਓ then we met Paji at the shoot. We did the video, and that was the first time that we kind of got to know each other. And then after that, we've been working on a lot of projects together.
Yeah, which is fantastic. Or like you rightly said, I'm extremely fond of Diljit. Artist का तो बहुत respect करती हूँ मैं, पर मुझे लगता है इंसान जो है वो, he's just heart of gold, right? Diljit
Yeah, for sure.
is what he is. I mean,
yeah, most positive and most hardworking guy I feel like in any room, and just his energy, just being around him, is really positive, like you mentioned.
Went to a Diljit concert and I heard him saying that they said Punjabi sold out concerts नहीं कर सकते, दिखा दिया मैंने.
Yeah, true.
He said they can't say Bollywood नहीं हो सकता, दिखा दिया मैंने. And then he went to the Jimmy Fallon show and he's like, see, we've reached here. And it was important for him to mention about why Punjabis are there.
Yeah,
some
for
people
sure.
keep questioning, why didn't you say Indian? And he explained that as well. How do you look at that conversation?
It's cool because like people need to really like now they're finally embracing the Punjabi language, the music. Like people that are India, like from India, like yourself, right? That live there, they know that Punjab is such a small part of such a big country. So it's like when the language of that small place has traveled through so far, people really appreciate that. They realize how far this language, this culture has struggled to take it to that level. So Paji represents it because a guy from such a small village is being played in such big stadiums, right? So that's what he's trying to tell people, the story of like how far we've become as a culture, as a people. So it's amazing to see that. And what's funny, like 2 years ago, because I messaged Paji, I congratulated him on the Jimmy Fallon thing. Like 2 years ago, I remember we were in LA and we were staying at like an Airbnb together. And we were working on music with Diljit Paji, me, Intense, and like Paji said 2 years ago, he's like, "Yaar, supna aaya hai, then we are Jimmy Fallon te jana." And then I messaged him the day it went down, and I was like, "Paji, like you said this 2 years ago, you did it." And like it's cool to manifest that and make it happen.
Amazing. I mean, हमारे लिए भी manifestation कर देना, please. Tell him too, because can you imagine saying that 2 years ago and he's there?
Yeah.
Chani, have you manifested some things really massive and they've come true? Because we all try to in some ways, don't we?
I'm not really big on manifestation. I'm more like that. I'm always the opposite. I kind of hope for like the least, and then like when the most does happen, right? It feels really good. Like for me, it's been more like I really want to do this. I really want to do that. But like I feel like the work itself, like Diljit Paji, I swear he has not taken a day off. right? He's 7 days a week, 365 days a year. So I feel like that was had more to do with the fact than the manifestation, right? So I feel
Mm.
like if we're in the studios every day, we're working, we're plugging in, and we're putting in like all the work that we can with all our heart, then like who's to say, the end of the possibility of us reaching it where we want to go, right? As long as the hustle and the work match the manifestation, I'm more big on that.
Fair enough. That's good as
Yeah,
well. I mean, look at where you've reached
yeah,
as well, right?
yeah. No, for sure,
Um,
for sure.
Shani, of course, Daku is among your most streamed songs, and it just
Yeah,
went
yeah,
loaded in a way that I'm sure even
yeah,
you can't imagine. How did
yeah.
the inception of that started? How was that?
Uh,
And then of course reacting to how the song went
yeah.
crazy
And
viral.
I really the Daku's a funny story because I really feel like it's God sent. You're gonna laugh. Okay, so we did Daku, and we originally it wasn't on the same composition. It wasn't on a different beat, right? So we're
Okay.
driving to the music video shoot, and it's good to have people in your life. This story was the best example of that. That aren't just like yes, yes, chakle fatte, wow vadiya, right? We're driving to the music video. It's raining. Everybody's kind of dukhy in the car, right? It's really early, and then we're playing the song, and then I'm like, yaar, gaane da, we're going to shoot the music video. And I'm like, I said it out loud, right? I was like, yaar, gaane da swaad ja nahi aa raha, hai na? We gana badhiya aaya, music till aaya. And I was like, composition could be better too. What do you guys think, man? Right? And
Mhm.
everybody was kind of like, yeah, theek hai, na? Like, let's just do it, see what happens, right? And then our video guy, shout out to him, Sagar. He's done a lot of videos for like Diljit Paji, Khan Aujla. He's done good videos right now, Sagar Diol. And he was the guy that was actually like, yo, Paji, ਆਪਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਸਵਾਦ ਨਹੀਂ ਆਉਂਦਾ ਯਾਰ ਵੀ ਆਪਾਂ let's just shoot the video today, but we won't do any lip syncs. ਬਾਅਦ ਵਿੱਚ ਆਪਾਂ ਗਾਣਾ ਵੀ ਚੇਂਜ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਹਾਂ, right? So we shot the video with no syncs. And then on the way home, because my mind's always super fast, just running, 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 I'm like, yo, like we gotta figure this out ASAP. So we played a different beat, and then Moga Paji was like, I think I could sing on this one, and you can speed up the composition. So we tried that. ਅਸੀਂ ਗੱਡੀ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਾਂਦਿਆਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਉਹੀ ਫੋਨ ਤੇ ਰਿਕਾਰਡ ਕਰ ਲਿਆ. And then after that, we're like, yaar, ਵਧੀਆ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਆਪਾਂ studio ਚੱਲੀਏ ਅੱਜ ਹੀ ਚੱਲੀਏ, right? So the same night of the music video, we went to the studio, we re-recorded it, and then we released the song in like another 2 months. And then you're not gonna believe it. Oh, Ghana almost like 1.5 year baad oh chalya inna. So like India, which we got the most love. Like India and Pakistan started putting up a lot of reels from Daku, right? That term of Daku, the Ekji, right? That line. And like it started trending a lot in India. Then after that, like it was just like a global wave. Like after India, Canada followed, and like all over UK, people started really listening to it. And it took a year and a half to it to go super crazy. And like I think 2023, it was the top 10 streamed songs of Spotify in India. No, I was like, it was truly a blessing because like when something gets appreciated at that global level, it really feels like you're doing something right. And I feel like that song really changed our lives, as in like, every artist has that one dream to like really make like a super gold hit. And that was it for us. And it was like, okay, now we know ek wari ta ho gaya, hai na? Right? Hopefully now we can imitate that. And it's like, thoda motivation aap di life nu mil gayi si.
From the most streamed song to a recent song that you've done, FaceTime.
Yeah. FaceTime, honestly, was such a fun collaboration. Like, it was with Miss Pooja, and she's been around so long in the Punjabi industry, working with so many artists. She was like known in Punjab when I was like in school time as like the duet queen. So like, if you wanted to make a hit song, you had to go to Miss Pooja. It was an era like that. And and the duet culture kind of disappeared for a little while, but now it's really back in Punjabi music, like the duet culture. So we made a duet on like a hip hop vibe, but it was a truly like a folk style beat. Sorry, folk style composition, and it was like a back and forth. Like she goes FaceTime Chak Mundia, and he goes oh nahi like Bapu Betha Nal kind of thing, right? So it was a fun playoff, and it got a lot of love all over, especially in Punjab and India as well. So it was a fun track, and that's the first one that we did with our new collaboration with the 91 North Records. So it was really really good.
No. I think it is a truly fun song. But you just mentioned, yeah, that she's among the ones who've been there in the Punjabi music industry for a while, and you were almost children when you heard of the songs, right?
Yeah.
There must be many artists like that has kind of shaped your taste of music, the way you look at Punjabi songs from a while ago as well. Can you tell me
Yeah.
your early inspirations and some artists that you truly like?
Growing up, my biggest inspiration, I'm not gonna lie, was Jazzy B. And Jazzy B, Jine Mera Dil Lutya, Romeo Bana Ke Munde Rakhte. Because I feel like when we were growing up, Jazzy started doing stuff that was really like, how do you say it, like ahead of his time, right? Because we listened to 50 Cent growing up, hip hop music, and Jazzy was bringing that music into Punjabi music. So he was kind of the first one to like bridge the gap. ਤੇ ਉਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਯਾਰ ਆਪਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਲੱਗਣਾ ਕਿ ਯਾਰ ਉਹ ਠੀਕ ਆ ਰੈਪ ਸੌਂਗਸ ਆਰ ਗੁੱਡ ਬਟ ਯਾਰ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਗਾਣਾ ਕਿੰਨਾ ਸੋਹਣਾ ਸਾਊਂਡ ਕਰ ਰਿਹਾ on a rap beat. So he was the first to do it. And like him living in UK that time, it felt like it was really inspired by like that culture, hip hop culture. And then he gave him such big hits. Growing up, we listened to him. So like I was super inspired by Jazzy B. And I'm gonna let you guys know, you guys are the first to hear it exclusive. We finally locked in with Jazzy B in the studio. So imagine that. Like we finally got a collaboration coming out with him soon. So that's gonna be really exciting.
I think that the child artist in you must be jumping with joy right now because
Yeah,
someone.
yeah. It was such a big moment for sure because I wanted to explain to Jazzy like how big of an inspiration he was in
Mhm.
my music. And I was like, you don't understand how big of a deal it is to finally work with you. And I got to listen to so many cool stories, but just sitting with him in the studio, because I was like, I asked him a question, right? I'm like, Paji, I'm like, how did you tell back in your day? Because today ਆਪਾਂ ਦੇਖੀਦਾ ਆ ਉਹ YouTube 'ਚ trending ਕਿਹੜਾ ਆ Spotify ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ trending ਕਿਹੜਾ ਆ I'm like Paji, how about in your time, how did you tell a song was doing so well, right? And he told me the best story. He's like ਉਸ time he goes ਪਤਾ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਸੀ ਜੇ ਗਾਣਾ ਉਹ ਵੱਧ ਚੱਲ ਗਿਆ, he goes ਜਿਹੜਾ ਟਰੈਕਟਰ ਤੇ ਸੁਣ ਪਿਆ, so he goes ਜੇ ਟਰੈਕਟਰ ਤੇ ਗਾਣਾ ਚੱਲਦਾ ਆ ਮਤਲਬ ਆ ਇਹ ਗਾਣਾ ਚੱਲ ਗਿਆ, right? Because he goes, if it reached the tractors in the villages, he's like, that now it's a good song. Then I'm like, how about like charts? How would you tell with charts? Because today you look at like an Apple Music chart, Spotify, you see how many streams you have, right? And the funniest story he told me was that he goes, we go to the store that sells the tapes, right? Although tape back the and he goes, ਅਸੀਂ tape ਲੈਣ ਜਾਣਾ ਪਰ ਅਸੀਂ ਆਪ, he goes, ਅੰਦਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਜਾਣਾ. He goes, we'd send one of our friends. And he goes, ਉਹਨੇ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਕਹਿਣਾ ਦੁਕਾਨ ਵਾਲੇ ਨੂੰ, he'd be like, ਉਹ ਟੇਪ ਫੜਾਓ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਅੱਜ ਕੱਲ ਚੱਲਦੀ ਆ. Then he goes, if my friend bought my tape back, he goes, ਮੈਂ ਸਮਝ ਗਿਆ ਕਿ ਮੇਰੀ ਟੇਪ ਚੱਲ ਰਹੀ ਆ. He goes, if he bought a different tape, he goes, ਮੈਂ ਸਮਝ ਗਿਆ.
Simple times, but great times,
Yeah,
right?
simple times, right? For sure, for sure.
This takes me back actually to the story of Chamkila. Because
Yeah,
when you said
yeah,
about कि गाने अगर ट्रैक्टरों में और अगर खेतों में,
yeah,
villages
yeah.
में अगर चल रही है तो
Yeah,
मतलब वो गाना दिल को छू जाती है, and that Ghana is connected
yeah,
with the masses. This is
true.
something that even Chamkila believed in from the time, and
Yeah,
he
yeah,
believed in the masses. He always said that I make my songs for all classes,
yeah,
for all
yeah,
kinds of people, the ones who are working hard every day. It's interesting. How do you look at that story? It's great that it's been appreciated so much, and Diljit getting the focus back through the film. But very important conversations were happened during the film and his life also about
yeah,
artists and their struggles. How do you
yeah,
look at
yeah. It's cool to see that because you realize that like how much harder it was that time, right? And it's funny to say it. It's kind of double edged. It's like what you've said before this. It's like exact same thing to say how simple it was at that time, right? Because like you know what it was like. Imagine, okay, so imagine both of us were like music fans at this age at that era. When you meet your favorite singer, like let's say you met like Chamkila or you met Diljit at that era, you only met him in person. There's no, Instagram, Snapchat. Today we see all our favorite celebrities like every day. You see him on social media. So like that time the interaction was so important because who knows when you're gonna see him after that. And I
no
feel like, like it was cool to see that movie because like you realize how different times were and how much more you kind of appreciate music then.
the movie also talks about the struggle of the artist to be authentic. and
Yeah.
his
Yeah.
art was questioned. His
Yeah.
lyrics questioned. While some loved it and they loved listening to it,
Yeah.
and of course, that also highlighted the evolution of the gangs and the culture of how
Yeah.
you had to kind of bow down to it. How do you look at that?
Honestly, it's unfortunate because like it's just like people need to realize like this is just a career like every other career. Like you're into media, we're into making music. It's just like I feel like everybody just doing their jobs, right? And it's really unfortunate to see that like just a certain sect of like a career path is getting targeted, right? So it's unfortunate. It kind of makes it hard for like artists to like kind of have fun with it still, right? Because now you're careful of like 10 more things.
Talking about
Yeah.
that, we should talk about Bhabi.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Yeah, so
So you
Bhabi
want
was
to
our
tell me
last
the story?
release. Yeah, Bhabi was our last release. It was with our brother Himmat Sandhu out of Punjab. And in Punjab, he is like one of the great like folk style vocalists. So I felt like he felt really good on this track. And it was a 50 Cent type of vibe that we brought him on. And so he was on the middle verse, Moga Paji first and third verse. And the Bobby track was basically like a fun play off about like he's asking like Kinna di kudi ya Bobby, right? So he's asking his Bobby like where did you see that girl? Who's she from? What village is she from? What hood is she from? So it's like kind of like back and forth, just a play off. Super fun track. It was shot half in India and Punjab, and it was shot half of it was shot in California.
It's great. If I ask you which is the Bhabi that you'd like to dedicate the song to,
I would say Ranjit Bobby. She was on TikTok a lot. Yeah, yeah. And I think Diljit Paji has it in one of her feature music videos too. She's like all global. Sarya di Bobby, Ranjit Bobby famous.
I
I'm
love
sure.
that answer. I'm
Yeah.
sure I'm sure among the few people who's got the opportunity to also, has he made food for you as well? Everybody just wants to know if he's made some food today.
Yeah, he made one time a salad, but I'm not much of a salad eater. And I was like, yeah, Paji, I love you, but I can't do it. And then we ordered waffles and French toast.
Perfect. Just sounds
Yeah,
heavenly.
yeah, for sure.
जब बहुत अच्छे दोस्त होते हैं काम में, you might not be end up being great collaborators.
Yeah,
और कभी कभी तो लोग बोलते हैं अगर काम और दोस्ती को मिक्स नहीं करनी चाहिए, they get impacted.
yeah,
You've actually had some fantastic collaborators like Inderpal, like you said, and you guys have been friends for a while, and you all have been doing some really good collaborations. How
yeah.
have you balanced that? Where are the boundaries that you kind of draw that does not kind of interfere with your creative collaboration and your personal friendship?
I feel like music is kind of different. ਹੁਣ ਜਦੋਂ music ਹੁੰਦਾ ਆ music ਵਿੱਚ ਕੋਈ business ਬਾਅਦ ਚ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਪਹਿਲੋਂ it's just emotions and music is like an art. So it's like when you're collaborating on an art, it's not truly business, and it's like everybody kind of knows their roles. Like my role is writing, Moga's is singing, and our music producer, he's our best friend, J Track right now. He's in the other room. His role is just making music. So ਹਰੇਕ ਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਹੈ ਵੀ team ਵਿੱਚ ਮੇਰਾ ਕੰਮ ਕਿਹੜਾ ਆ, right? And nobody like steps on anybody's lane. Everybody's doing their thing, and it's like I feel like when you're making good music with good people that especially like really like they hold value in your life. They're your friends, and I feel like that's when the best music gets made. Because chemistry is in the studio, right? It's
Yeah.
not just we're not here just because like oh minu janda ya ja either inne follower. It's genuinely people that like we really care about each other. So like I feel like that's when the best music is made.
Yeah, of course. Okay, not all Punjabi artists are writers, and you are one. So I
Yeah,
think you're a person who could give me insight into how you feel about this entire conversation about being, while lyrics can be fun, a lot of lyrics are often
yeah,
called out to be, misogynistic and
yeah,
not that okay. Like Honey and Badsha have faced a lot of that, saying
yeah,
your lyrics are
yeah,
very and they've explained their own ways and why those lyrics are. In fact, Bacha had also said that I've stopped making those songs now. I will
yeah,
not go into the zone because I want to respect everybody, but they were done in a certain way. As a writer, or after, matlab, you've grown up listening to so many of these artists,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
How do you look at this conversation, and what are your thoughts on it?
Honestly, like end of the day, it is music, it is entertainment because if we compare it to rap music, there's a lot of more. like vulgar terms. There's more and more like way artists portrayed, you can say, right, in rap
Yeah.
music. So it's like Punjabi music is right now, it's really influenced off rap music. A lot of the new stuff, at least I could say, but it's still like the cultural aspect because we have different values. We have different, like our culture has different kind of like there's things that we can certainly say in our play in our houses where we have like mostly like people grew up with like their whole families and everybody's like together like joint families, especially like us growing up in Canada. So it's like, yeah, like it's cool, but at the same time, it's like I feel like that there's kind of boundaries, and like every artist is different. For us, me personally, like I do music that I can play in front of my mom, my dad, right? So it's like like everybody's kind of like moves differently, and I feel like now it's at a point where like I feel like even the like as you mentioned, Bacha said that too. I heard that interview, and it's like I feel like they're at that kind of stage too, where it's like yeah, everybody does music where like everybody, even like like kids could listen to it, and it's nothing that like people. It's for everyone, sort of best way to put it.
But I'm sure you also get that kind of pressure. Once you become very popular, they also say,
Yeah,
write a song that's about a partying and this and
yeah,
about women,
yeah,
and in a certain way that'll get you more
yeah,
numbers,
yeah.
because the
No, no, for
number
sure.
game is so big.
Yeah, it's so
Have
much
you?
pressure. No, 100%. No, sorry to cut you off. I totally agree with you. Yeah, it's been like that sometimes in studios because like me and Moga, like we've had this rule from day one. Like you notice in any of our songs, we actually don't mention any type of drugs, alcohol. We
Abuses.
haven't done it. Yeah, we haven't done it any like substance abuse kind of type of songs before, like promoting that. Like it's cool. Everybody that does it, it's cool. 100% respect to them. It's just something that we haven't done from day one. My music is really like inspired from like a lot of guys that like I used to sit with, chill with. Like big shout out to Sidhu Moosewala, right? Like, I've been in the studio with bro, and like we've been kicking it together. We had so many good times, and like you know, um, and justice for him. And it's been like I feel like just kicking it with him, he has never in any of his songs mentioned any of that. And we shared uh that one common goal with our music for Punjabi. But like we'll do everything, but we're not gonna go that way. And it's always been like since like me and Moga started, and that's one thing that I felt like me and Sidhu used to bond on, is because he never used to mention it, and then we always had that one rule as well.
You mentioned Sidhu and the love and the support that his fans has given him even after his unfortunate um,
Yeah, for
passing
sure.
away. It's been crazy. What are your favorite and earliest memories of sitting and chilling with him, maybe, and as artists, when you get to do that, it's the best time, right? Like talking about music, your
Yeah,
life.
yeah.
Can you tell me an earliest memory? And for you, and this might be triggering, but it must have been very heartbreaking for you on the day when you heard the news in that case.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like everybody that loved music, in general, it was just like a very devastating day. And I don't feel like anybody could ever take his position because I remember being in the studio with Sidhu, and like I never seen an artist write that fast on the spot. Like this guy could like that's the one song he did was at my friend's studio here in Surrey. The song was called Badfella, and he did it with one of my friends. Produced it. His name's Harj Nagra. Big shout out to him. And like, Sidhu wrote those verses on the spot, and everybody that day, I swear to you, was partying in the studio. They were drinking, and it didn't Sidhu didn't it didn't care. He didn't care. It didn't bother him. He was in the booth. He did not open the door. He was in there locked in, and everybody's making so much noise outside. He didn't even tell everybody to relax, calm down, and it was crazy in there. And I was like I that day respect for him grew so much because it's like I knew he was in there working. We were trying to calm everybody down, but like he was just there to do his job. Like he wrote. I remember going to the studio and we were like, "Oh, like bro, like we only have one verse done." He goes, "Nee, nee, nee, koi nahi, aapa chak dena." Got there and like banged that song out, the whole song, and he did everything one take. Literally wrote the two verses left right in front of everyone in the booth, and I was like, like that was like the biggest inspiration, just to be around that kind of guy.
Yeah. Was it a very different experience having such brilliant writing collaborations for you, like Sidhu? Does it help? when you
Yeah,
have?
he helped write one like it was 4 lines. It was on a Tarbak track for us too, and he did some ad libs on it for me. He taught me what ad libs are. I didn't know what ad libs were before either. So like it was really cool just being around him and Intense, our brother in Surrey, I mentioned before. He introduced us, and it was cool because like we got to be around someone like that who's so motivated, so hardworking. And yeah, like I feel like if you haven't been in the studio with Sidhu, people don't realize how actually talented this guy was.
No, fantastic. I mean, thank you for sharing the stories. You just mentioned
Yeah.
justice for Sidhu. How did you deal with all of that?
Yeah, it was honestly like I feel like a lot of people are still in disbelief when you play his songs and you listen to his video, watch his music videos, or like this watch his interviews. It's like everybody dealt with it in their own way. For us, it was just kind of like that. This is that one like the gap or like the hole in the Punjabi music and Punjabi culture, the void. I feel like that would never be filled. And like the justice aspect is like everybody, um, that's a music fan or besides the music part, even if you're, like for humanity's sake, everybody's asking for justice because it was like, it's hard to even mention like how everything went down, and it's like, you see his parents and everything, like, it's just like there's no words to put like how gruesome and unfortunate it was, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I thank you. I mean, I know it must be difficult for you as well, for being a friend and a collaborator to talk about it, but I think it was beautiful. I think these stories, when people listen to, will kind of remember him again, and
Yeah,
they
oh,
continue
for
to do
sure.
so. You
Yeah,
know,
I feel like in like the next maybe like 100 or like 500 years, Punjabi music won't have another writer, another singer like that. Yeah, it was a one of a kind. He's a truly a legend.
you know. Chani, have you planned how your tours can be here now? Because you see your songs are getting so popular, right? But
Yeah,
are you thinking in that aspect now, in the way you're trying to kind of planning to level up yourself as the singer as well, right? Because you
yeah,
are, and you've been writing for a while. I think you've also been extremely private and working in the shadows. And but how
yeah.
is the stardom and this leveling up going for you? I hope you
It-
got the question.
yeah, no, no, for sure. I think it's been a really blessed journey, and it's like, even sometimes like I need to like step back and realize like how far we've come, from just like now we have a team like Warner Music Canada behind us, Warner Music India, 91 North Records. Shout out to the whole team. I've been blessed enough to have such a good team now because I never had that before. Me, Moga Paji, it was literally just us and like our like couple of friends in our circle, really close ones, and that's it. And it's like now we have such a massive team supporting us, and it feels so good because like now we can finally focus on the music aspect of making it. Before ਸਾਨੂੰ ਇਹ ਫਿਕਰ ਹੋਣਾ ਕਿ ਗਾਣਾ ਇੱਥੇ ਕਿਵੇਂ ਚਲਾਵਾਂਗੇ ਉੱਥੇ ਕਿਵੇਂ ਲਵਾਵਾਂਗੇ, right? And like just like getting to meet people like you, and it's like we never really had these opportunities before. So it's like to see where our music is now and it's getting us into these kind of rooms, it's really a blessing.
So the question that I asked right before this question: are you planning an India tour?
Yeah, for sure, for sure. We're planning some exciting stuff real soon. It's just like I feel like now after the end of this year we'll be in more comfortable position if we have a more bigger body of music out too. And then I feel like the perfect time for it.
Okay, I'm going to now come to my last segment, which are quick, fun questions, and you can give like one-liner
For
explanation
sure,
for them.
for
Uh,
sure.
so, Chani, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready.
Okay.
I
A
think I'm ready.
rumor. I think you're ready. Listen, you've
Yeah.
been giving fantastic, confident answers, and I loved the conversation because you're
Yeah.
as authentic as it gets. So I love that. Thank you.
Oh, no respect. Thank you.
Okay, like I said, fun questions. Are
Yeah.
you ready?
Let's do it.
A rumor about yourself that makes you laugh.
That I don't write my own songs.
Is it
That's
true?
that's that's not true. Yeah, that's the funniest rumor ever. They think I have a guy in India. We have a ongoing joke in our circle. And we're like, एक आदमी इंडिया च रहिंदा ओहदा नाम रिंकू आ उस तो गाने लिखाਉਂਦਾ है.
But that happens with a lot of other singers, right? Like they say that
Yeah,
ye gaana nahi
yeah,
ga raha hai guys.
yeah, for sure. So that's mine.
Okay. According to you, which is one of your best written songs if you had to judge it?
I would say Daku for sure for first one, and then if I could choose a second, I really been vibing to FaceTime.
Ah,
Um, because it's like such a good back and forth, really filled up song.
okay. Who, according to you, has the most amazing vocals among the Punjabi artists today?
Sidhu Moosewala for sure, most powerful vocalist.
Because you said that, can you tell me a few Sidhu Moosewala tracks that you personally
I
think are amazing?
really play some of even like the no, I wouldn't say underrated, but like some of the songs like that aren't too boppy. I really like the Tibbiyan de Pot, and I play a lot of after Tibbiyan de Pot. I like the other song Sidhu did that ਮੈਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਹੀ ਬਹਿੰਦਾ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨਾਲ ਬਹਿੰਦੇ ਨੇ, right? That was one of my favorite tunes by him. And especially like the other songs he did. One of them that came out after he passed, SYL was one of my favorites. Watch Out, right? So yeah.
One of the funniest facts about Diljit Dosanjh that the world doesn't know.
Funniest facts about the song the world doesn't know. Um, Honestly, Paji's life is pretty out there. So I'm trying to think about a fact that people don't know. He's exactly like how you see him in like a movie or in his Snapchat or in a video. That's probably the funniest fact that once the camera's off, he's still that jolly and he's still that like that funny guy in the room.
It is.
And
What else?
actually wait, there's one funny fact about Diljit Dosanjh. I didn't know what airdrop was. He taught me how to airdrop.
Did you teach him how to do it?
No, he taught me. He taught me. That's the
He
funny
taught you?
part. He taught me. He's like, "Minu photo." We took a picture, and he goes, "Minu photo page," and I was like, "Okay." I sent it on WhatsApp. He's like, "Oh, yaar, quality marti sari tu," and I was like, "What do you mean?" And he goes, "Airdrop chala." I'm like, "Airdrop? What the hell is an airdrop?" And then that's the day I learned how to airdrop from him. Most,
This is
yeah,
amazing. Diljit said he doesn't know how to book tickets and a lot of
yeah,
basic stuff.
yeah,
And you
yeah. But he
told me you
knows
don't know
airdrop.
airdrop.
Yeah,
I'm sorry?
and that's a funny thing. He doesn't know that, but he knew how to use airdrop.
I think he's updated himself. After Alexa conversation, I think he's pretty updated.
For sure, for sure.
Okay. What is one funny fact about you that the world doesn't know? Besides
Funny,
the airdrop.
funny fact about me, the world doesn't know. I Okay, so this is actually this is kind of low key embarrassing, but I'll let you guys know. I can't read or write Punjabi, so I write my songs in English, English Punjabi. Like you know how I would text you and be like "Kidda ji," and like English. That's how I write my songs. So when
That's
someone gives me Punjabi lyrics or Punjabi instructions in Gurmukhi, then I have to pretend like I know what they're saying
yeah.
because I don't want to let them know because it's super embarrassing. We need a studio.
Okay. How much of autotune is too much?
I feel like as long as it doesn't sound too computery and too glitchy, it's blessed. Because autotune, the reality is, it's the new sound now.
Okay.
So we have to work within it, but we always have a certain like it still should sound human.
Remix or original? Or remixes or original? And tell me why.
I would say originals because I just feel like nothing hits as harder. It's like how it was authentically made and we're all used to listening. And I feel like remixes sometimes they don't go as hard as the original.
Okay. An international artist that you're really, really putting it out there to collaborate with.
International artists really putting it out there to collaborate with. On top of my head right now, I would say Central C. I really vibe with Central C, UK rapper.
Okay. Are there any other hip hop artists that you really want to do that with as well?
I really listen to Lil Durk a lot. Yeah, American rapper. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be cool. An album that you think is extremely emotional for you in the recent times that you've done.
Emotional. I wouldn't say too emotional, but one album that I feel like we really put a lot of heart into was a plot. We did an EP called The Plot. Me, Moga Paji, J Track. that one I feel like it has a lot of different vibes attached to it. And the other album which has a lot of emotion that everybody should look out for is that we have a tape that we're doing in the future with me, Inderpal Moga, and A.R. Paisley, my brother. And he's done crazy collaborations with Sidhu as well, with a lot of other Punjabi artists. He's done songs with A.P. Dillon. A.P. Talona, बहुत सोना गाना है. So that everybody's heard that one as well. So A.R. Paisley, look out for that collab tape that we're dropping soon. It's going to be super exciting.
Okay. What does it work for you? Antics on stage, like doing crazy things on stage. Like AP broke the guitar. Is that okay for you? Or is that something you wouldn't do on stage?
I'm super nervous on stage, so I probably wouldn't do that.
You wouldn't?
No.
But have you always planned, like when I go on stage, if there's something like cool, like a gesture or something?
Yeah, that stuff for sure. Yeah, we know how to get the crowd going, but that's about it. We're still learning. We're still in the learning stages. Yeah.
Okay. A Hindi film actor that you would want to collaborate with, as in the video, you'd want to feature them. Who would that actor be and why?
Yo, Salman Khan or Sanjay Dutt. I'm gonna pick two.
You're a big fan?
Yeah, Sanjay Dutt, because I watched his like really gangster movies growing up, and I was like the biggest fan.
So them, you never know, with all your manifestations coming true, this might as well. We are putting it out there.
Putting it out there, yeah.
Okay. One thing about the Punjabi music industry that needs to change for helping the whole industry.
I feel like that we should really get together more, collaborate more, and like it will be just bigger for the culture. And because you see rap music, you have like 4 or 5 guys on one song and like just massive collaborations like that. And I feel like Punjabi music, like we're really pushing for it. A lot of artists are as well, but it's not there yet. And I feel like that would really be cool if we can adapt that kind of culture. The collab culture is there, but it's not as big as it should be.
If you had to pick any of your favorite songs and dedicate it to someone in the Punjabi film industry or Hindi film industry or any other Indian film industry, who would that be and why?
I would dedicate, let me think now. I would dedicate one of our songs, FaceTime. I dedicate it to my friend Sukha from Toronto. He's a new Punjabi artist. He's done Atasle. He's killing it right now. Yeah. I probably dedicate that song to him because me and him probably video call at least like once, twice a week.
But also an actor. I said any actor from the Indian film industry. Can be from Punjabi industry, Hindi, South,
Punjabi, maybe I would say Ammy Virk. Because I have a good relationship with him.
For FaceTime?
Yeah.
Okay, I love that. Asking you about the fact that you've lived your life as authentically, right? But sometimes in this conversation, you mentioned Ammy. He's also spoken about the fact that sometimes you want to keep your whole aspect and your personal life so private, which includes how he explains why he didn't want to talk about the marriage that he's in, and Diljit, a lot of the others don't do that. How do you look at this conversation? Because you're pretty out there, and you live as it is.
Yeah, I guess every artist kind of moves differently in the sense of how much they want to put out there personally. My aspect is this: like I've always been growing up super out there, super outside. Yeah. Everybody knows everything about my life, so it's like I don't know any other way to live. So I feel like that's always been a part of me. And I feel like everybody kind of saw me like growing up, and like I've been like like my life's kind of been really out there, like you mentioned. So it's like that's kind of all I know, like, and I feel like that's just who I am genuinely, right? Like if my mom's making like curry chol, then I'm gonna Snapchat her making curry chol kind of thing, right? Like it's like how like my family is really like they're loving in a sense that they've kind of adapted to it as well. Like they've been like that from day one as well. So yeah, that's how like I feel like my own values on that.
Which is fantastic. Well, thank you so much, Chani. It was wonderful. Thank you for being so honest and, like I said, authentic.
Yeah, no, for sure. Thank you so much for having us. It really feels like time flew by.
Of course. Thank you. I'm going to hold you up for that. You said you were doing a concert in India, and I'm sure that we'll hear about it soon. So I need all the details very soon.
For sure. No, for sure. Thank you.
Sending you lots of love, Chani. Thank you once again.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Take care, guys. Okay.
Of course.